Boo. Greetings bleepers! Today I have the absolute pleasure of doing a quick review of the Equinox 900, the latest offering from Minelab themselves. They've released the Equinox 900 and the 700 at the same time, and we're still waiting on the beast, which is the Manticore. And once we've done our quick look, we'll be answering the question, is it just a repackaged Equinox 800? Rebranded for us fools? Yes, we'll be talking about that at the end of the video. Now, if you want any more details about the Equinox 900 or any Minelab product, then there's a link to the Joan Allen website below. Joan Allen are managed partners for Minelab, so you're in really, really good hands concerning aftercare and any advice that you need. Go on, have a squeeze. Right, let me scrabble away at this with my feral ginger claws so we can see what treasures await us inside. The ML85s, the new headphone offering from Minelab. You can see the 85s right there. Low latency, lightning fast, robust, sturdy, looking good. And the actual unit itself. We'll have a more thorough look at this in a minute. Okay, so it comes with the 11-inch coil right there, but it also comes with a 6-inch coil, little sniper coil as you saw. We've got this sexy new arm cup. What would you... Look at that! So we have this serrated part here which is on the shaft itself. Then we get this part which is the arm cup, and it just sits on here like this. Move it wherever you want. Easy! And once you've actually established where you want it, there's a button there. Push that down and it's firm in place. This does not feel like it's gonna snap any, none of this business over here. No snappy arm cup of doom. That is awesome, and it also just lends yourself to quick manoeuvring as well. Whereas before you had to, if you wanted to go into the sea and you wanted to come down, you want to come down to like it's you know, short its length, and you've got to move. That is easy access. Now we also have a 2-piece carbon shaft, and we have these awesome cam locks here, which are loosened and tightened by literally loosening and tightening these parts here, and then just clipping them as to where you want them to go. And there's a little red line to show you not to go past that point because you've gone too far. Really, really simple stuff. Works very well. Now apparently it is lighter than its predecessor, the 800. Don't really feel it. Oh, maybe I do. Carbon shaft, so it's going to be anyway, isn't it? These coil lugs are so tough that not even I'm going to snap them. And that's say I'm going to really try my hardest to break them. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Not even with my teeth. That is, yeah, damn you Minelab. That shaft itself goes down to 25 inches. It's teeny. Lock that back in place. There you go, look at that. That's funny. It's going to fit nicely in a backpack. That's gorgeous, isn't it? We have exactly the same charge port on the back, which makes things easier, and we have a flashlight there as well. We'll talk about that in a second. The buttons are slightly indented this time rather than the protruding nature of the Equinox 800. She is waterproof down to 5 meters, and I'll be testing it. Trust me on that. It's a whole new kind of system here, which is extra waterproof apparently. Now you big-handed creatures like myself will be pleased to know that Fummius Rubbus has been alleviated by this little lift part right here. So on the Equinox 800 that was just completely straight, and what would happen is that my hand would slip forward, and then on the corner of the unit itself my thumb would rub here, which wasn't a massive thing in the bigger picture, but it was frustrating after a while. This handle's much nicer, and it has a vibrate mode in it too. Right, let's get into the detector and see what awaits us in the menus and the interface. Let's go beneath the bonnet, if you will. I like the way it's perfectly balanced and it just sits there like an obedient dog. You're a good boy, aren't you? Yes, you are. Bam. No need to long press. She's on. One frustrating thing, we have this lovely Equinox 900 logo here. When you put the plastic thing on which tells you about what all your modes are, it completely covers that up, and I like the logo. Look at it, it's awesome. That's a machine I'd put 50p in, you know. And as you can see, the interface is very, very similar to the 800. Now our target ID arc now goes from -19 to 99. So we're going to have to get in there and relearn our kind of regional IDs. The separation on this thing is much better than the 800. I'll be doing a common target ID for British finds video very, very soon on this machine. So this gives us a much more detailed reflection of what is beneath our coil. But not only that, our sensitivity has gone from 25 to 28. It's right down at the moment because I don't want it sounding off whilst we're doing this video. Now that button on the left hand side which switches on your machine, if you long press it, it will factory reset it. Now this button here on the left hand side, we'll hit this once and we have that red backlight which you can't see at all at the moment because we're out in the light. But that red, when it's in a slightly dark environment, is amazing. This will now be known as the Soho of metal detectors. And of course you can dim that down or turn it off. Now if you hold that button, your cheeky little torch at the back will turn on, as we can see from this icon here in the top left. On the right hand side we have the wireless button to pair our headphones with, and then specific user modes is right there. Our modes are exactly the same as far as I can see, so we have Park 1, Park 2, we have Field 1, Field 2, we have Beach 1, Beach 2, and then we have Gold Mode 1 and 2. We're in multi-frequency, as you can see right there. I don't know what singular kilohertz you can run the machine at, but it doesn't really bother me because I'm always going to be running it in multi-frequency anyway. Now, as I said, everything is very familiar here, which lends people to think that this is a repackaged and a rebranded Equinox 800. But again, we're going to have that discussion in a minute as to why, well, they're massively wrong. So we're going to hit the settings button in the middle. That's going to take us to our noise cancel. This is very, very familiar for 800 users or 600 users. Okay, the next one is our ground balance, and then we have our volume. If we hold this down, it will take us into the deeper menu for volume, and then we can change where we want our iron to be, for example. Next one is threshold, and if we get into the deeper menu by long pressing this button as well, we can change the pitch of the threshold. So it suits all types if you choose to use a threshold, which I'm going to start doing. Threshold surfing is something I used to really enjoy doing on C-scope machines, the older machines, the PIs especially, the pulse induction machines. And changing the pitch of it is great if you've got tinnitus like myself, so you don't want a threshold which is too high. Something lower would suit you better. Okay, target tones, so we have now 1 tone, 2 tones, 5 tones, all tones, which will give us diverse tones for each individual target ID number. Really, really looking forward to playing with that. And then lastly we have depth, which is typically used with gold detecting and gold hunting modes. So there you go. Okay, next one is accept reject. Long hold it and we can set our tone break. And lastly we have our recovery time. Now the processor in this machine and chipset and the motherboard are completely different, so I'm going to really have to kind of get in there and mess around with my recovery time, because it's going to be a whole quicker deal, which means it's going to change how that responds to target IDs. Now, to answer the question, is it just a repackaged Equinox 800? My friend, comrade and colleague Tom Dempster had the opportunity to interview Mark Lorry, the lead engineer at Minelab, last week I think it was, and I'll link to his blog and that interview below, where he asked that very question. And Mark explained that everything here has been re-engineered from the bottom up. It's brand new processors, brand new chips, brand new motherboard. This is a completely new and fresh metal detector. I think the naivety of the question comes in the fact that it looks just like an 800. The menu is exactly the same, so people just presume it's a repackaged in a different, with a nice stem and everything's been bumped up slightly. It's not. It's a completely new metal detector. I think that the reason that they've kept everything before is because of familiarity. Why change something if it's not broken? The Equinox 800 is the most successful metal detector of all time. People know the menu, they know the system, they know the interface. There's no need to change that. Understand that the wizards of Minelab have been standing around the red and white cauldrons of innovation for the past 5 years, redesigning and creating this fantastic beast that I have in my hands. On the 800 itself, this is a huge upgrade. It's a time warranted upgrade. Now, and what I mean by that is the fact that tech moves forward. The 800 is still a fantastic machine, and it will always be a fantastic machine. This is its evolution. Here's a filmic analogy for you. This here is my GoPro Hero 4, old technology, perfectly good at making films, can still record, can still shoot in, I don't know, a high resolution, it can still do many things. It's still a perfectly good camera to make films. But here we have my GoPro Hero 8, which is the evolution, which has image stabilization, shoots in 4K, as wireless capabilities, the sound is better, the quality is better. Doesn't mean to say that the Hero 4 is awful in any way. Its function is still very relevant as a filmmaking device, but the Hero 8 is better, and that's exactly the same as it is with our Minelab products that we're talking about today. So there you go, my friends, the Equinox 900, a machine that we're going to be talking about quite a lot, I think, in the years to come. Again, if you want the best information, and as far as I'm concerned, the best after sales care, etc, there's a link in the description below to the Joan Allen website. Thank you for watching, and we shall see you in the next video.